be okay. We'll all 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 be okay.
It's a beautiful one, this one. Omar Isa, I'll Be Okay. Lovely one. Definitely one that gets you in a feel-good mood at the end of the day if you want some motivation and inspiration. And speaking of motivation and inspiration, nothing can get you more motivated when you know it's time to hustle and get that new job or get the job you always wanted, or when you see vacancy on any advert or online, or you come across it when you're scrolling on Instagram or something. We all look at what's on jobs or whatever is happening all on social media. We all want to see that dream job. And is it possible for us to maybe move to Dubai? Or are we going to move to Joburg? Or are we going to move to Sandton? Or maybe it could just be something from home, or you're looking for those glorious words saying work from home or something or the other, the easy way out. Or maybe just if you love a challenge, everyone is looking for something or the other. And especially in a post-COVID world, we all are trying a little harder now to gain the visions that we've always dreamed for ourselves. So we welcome from Pro Talent, a specialist recruitment, specialist permanent recruitment, and we've got a recruiter in studio with us today, Adrian Pillay. Good afternoon and welcome to Radio Al Ansar.
Good afternoon, Salma. Thank you very much for having me.
It's such a pleasure, and I'm really going to dig deep today. I'm going to make the most of having you here. There's so many questions we have. For those wanting to watch, you're welcome to follow on Facebook as well, Radio Al Ansar Facebook page. And if you want to pop any questions, you're welcome to do so on 0609041056, and time permitting, we will post the questions to Adrian, 0609041056. How different is the job hunting space now, post, let's say pre-COVID era? Because now things have developed, they have changed in so many ways. How different is it now?
Pre-COVID, we used to say globalization. That was a buzzword even before. Right? But I think now even more so, globalization. More and more companies, overseas offshore companies, are looking to expand. So not have buildings, not have bricks and mortar anymore, completely remote working and work internationally. So you've got offices in Hong Kong, in San Francisco, South Africa, Philippines, UK, and they all working on Teams, working on Slack, working on Zoom, whatever the case may be. There's so much opportunities now to work remotely and not have the traditional structures that we might all have been accustomed to.
And there's actually ways to grow in that also. So you're not like restricting yourself. If you are becoming the digital nomad, as people would say, where you go look for your nearest coffee shop and you plonk yourself there with a laptop, the hours are more flexible.
Yes.
Tell us about something like that, a career field like that. How would that work if you're not working specifically for your typical job, office desk job?
So for remote, I mean, it's a time to innovate for sure. We've all had to learn how to work digitally from COVID. A lot of companies during the pandemic, lockdown restrictions forced them to go remote. So we've had to adapt and innovate. And I think that's a good thing because, again, we've had to learn. We've had to learn how to now use technology to our advantage. More people started getting onto using their laptops, using their phones, and also with Durban and KZN and the challenges that we have to face with load shedding. So having a backup supply for your Wi-Fi or your connectivity, I think what it's done is really helped us. It's forced us into a position where we've got to innovate otherwise. But the resilience of human nature is we adapt and we move on. We definitely grasp that. So from marketing to IT, digital marketing, you mentioned, all of those types of jobs.
So would that make digital knowledge or IT knowledge or social media to that extent, an understanding of Zoom or Teams for that matter, would those become now key criteria
skills
for skills that recruiters are looking for or companies are looking for? Tell us about how now that has become almost top of the priority list when you're employing someone.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So as recruiters, we use LinkedIn predominantly to look for potential candidates. We use that as a platform for searching. LinkedIn allows recruitment companies further access into a database. So what you see as a normal user of LinkedIn,
Okay.
LinkedIn recruiters will have a different access to it. And what that allows us to do is, again, look at your recommendations, look at your skill set. On LinkedIn, you can now post a video of yourself. And not just a picture, like Facebook would just have a picture, but LinkedIn will have a video, like a 30-second video. Hi, my name is Adrian. I'm a talent acquisition specialist from ProTalent. Connect with me. I'm happy to help you. You can do that. So ordinary people can do that. I don't think it's necessarily something that you've got to go and do a course on. This is almost day-to-day IT skills, if you want to call it that, or technical skills. So we learn from each other, and I think the technology age, or the age that we're living in, we're more driven to use our phones, pretty much this, smart computers. And if we can use WhatsApp video and if we can use social media in that aspect, why not take that same skill set or apply those that same knowledge to job search?
And more professionally as well.
Absolutely.
So you touched on it briefly. You said the word course. So it begs me to wonder, you still have many people these days who perhaps did not do the degrees or don't have the diplomas. And you get people that will have masters and PhDs that are still perhaps job hunting as well. How important are those degrees and qualifications now?
So they are very important. I think I'll never take away from a degree or diploma or master's, PhD. You should never take away from that.
100%.
What courses or other short courses do for you is maybe bring your niche back to where you want to be. So while a degree might be broad, so I'll take an IT degree, for example, or a diploma, 3-year diploma, you'll be learning programming, network infrastructure, as well as database administration, for example. When you come out with that diploma, it doesn't really dictate or tell you this is where your job is going to go into. So you've now got to think, well, what did I enjoy from that diploma? What did I enjoy from that degree? Where's my passion? Is it working in a hands-on in a technical environment, or is it behind a desk on software programming? And now that's where those short courses will come in. Platforms like Udemy, Coursera, Allison, LinkedIn Learning. These platforms have really brought in a new dynamic to learning short courses and upskilling and getting people to the right sort of ability, taking what they might have learned in a 3-year diploma or even a certificate, and applying that and making it more focused to.
And it also shows the potential employee what you're willing to do to reach the goals what you want to achieve and what you're willing to set your mind to.
There's a certain proactivity that comes with that. Yes, when we look at CVs, we're not just looking at a qualification or your job experience. We're looking at what you've done in between. So I was speaking to somebody earlier this morning. This person, she's unemployed, but she's volunteering over the weekends. Now, again, she's applying the same knowledge and skills, but not in a job setting, in a volunteer setting. But what that shows me in a nuanced way is that she's proactive, takes the initiative, and she's a person of good character, good integrity. And those are the things that people will always want to hire. It's not just the qualifications or the skill set or the experience. A person with integrity, values, moral values, those things still shine and stand out in the market.
I love that. And it comes through, no matter what, it will come through in any sort of way. But you mentioned the beautiful magic word. You mentioned the word CV. Well, it's not a word, but we mentioned the CV. So that beautiful CV that everyone works so hard on. I can still remember the day coming out of matric and we were told to make a CV, and you do this beautiful flowery one with a lovely border and all the experience, and you did this course and you did that course, and the kind of make-believe CV you'd love to give forward and apply all about yourself and everything. So from that sort of version of a CV to now, say you're a person in your 20s or if not in your 30s perhaps, how would your CV now be constructed?
So CVs now are tailored to your career. So they customize to the job you're applying for. A person with a graphic design, a person who is a graphic designer or wants to be a graphic designer is not going to have your 2 or 3 page Word document.
No.
They're going to have a portfolio.
I was just going to say,
They're going to have their artwork displayed. They're going to have not even a PowerPoint presentation. Now you can do it digitally. You can do it on a video format.
Okay.
So there's lots. The Behance.net is a particular platform that graphic designers would use, where they would have their portfolio online, and as a way of showcasing their talent. An accountant is going to have a different CV, versus an IT person. So certain things have changed and will change, but they have to be adapted to your job. It wouldn't make sense to look at templates that, that's more catered to a graphic designer and then have an accountant use that. It doesn't make sense.
No, definitely.
But social media, really key. LinkedIn, really key to get your brand out there. The buzzword is also marketing yourself, marketing your CV, having a good social media profile. So LinkedIn is, again, I know I'm promoting it a lot.
I know, but you emphasize on the importance of it compared to Facebook or Instagram.
It's one of our go-tos for sure. It's one of our go-to platforms. It's very easy to get recommendations from people that you've networked with or connected with or have worked with in the past.
Yeah.
You get your referrals and recommendations. So why not use that platform?
No, definitely. So what information on a CV would be most important that you would need to put, or you don't have to necessarily put?
Yeah. So some things haven't changed.
Yeah.
I mean, your personal information.
Yeah.
Your name, your address, where you live, just that personal information, a little bit about yourself, maybe a short summary of yourself, about a short profile, your education, and that can be anything. That can be whether you are just a matriculant or a matriculant and have done some short courses, or degree qualified, diploma or certificate, and then your experience. And your experience has got to, from my perspective, your experience needs to tell a story. So us as recruiters or employers are looking at your CV. We don't know you, and we don't know whether to call you or not. Your CV is the only key that's going to get you that interview. So we say, make sure you tell the story. So the company you worked for, or the place that you're volunteering at, what did you do, and what were the transferable skills that you took away from that place? It's not just, I answered phone calls or I handled all the IT in the company. State facts, figures, make it more quantifiable, and that tells your story. Curriculum vitae is basically a story of your life. That's what CV means. So it's really important to get the right information on there, and references. People that you again worked with, ideally your supervisor, team leader, whatever the case may be, managers. People that you can rely on to provide an objective and good reference for yourself.
Now, would this be something that you would print out, or you would take, or ideally are you going to email it beforehand? Are you sending this to companies where you would like to work? Perhaps say, for example, you're looking at somebody who's a BCom graduate. She's been at home, she's had her kids, and now she wants to get back in the work field, get back into the field. Does she perhaps pop an email into certain places and say, please have a look and consider for future or whatever? Or does she wait now for a vacancy ad? Well, what should she do?
I think all of the above. So the beauty of today and living in this day and age is things are more accessible. People are more accessible. Again, I'm going to come back to LinkedIn, but you can connect with, for example, an Elon Musk or a Bill Gates or whoever in a prominent space. But that's obviously an extreme case. But more localized, if you see a company, you drove past on the N2, you drove past on there, I'm Shlanga, you saw a company that you recognize as a marketing agency, and it's like, who is that company? Do a quick Google search. Go onto their LinkedIn profile. Who is this company? Okay, I get to know the HR manager or the MD through LinkedIn. Message them, connect with them, message them.
So that's okay to do that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think it's welcomed as well. Again, it shows that you've taken that step. You've shown initiative. You've been proactive to do that. Send us your portfolio. Hey, I noticed that you're a recruiter at ProTalent. You're based in Westville. Can I send you my CV?
Okay.
Attach the portfolio. Again, LinkedIn also allows that video attachment, so you can send a video of yourself. In that way, you're almost bypassing another step where, if you just sent me your CV on Word document, maybe I'm going to see it.
But the video is likely to grab more attention.
The video is definitely going to grab more attention. So from a marketing perspective, you've got a lot more capability now to do that, to get to the right person and the person that you want,
Mhm.
and also get there quicker. Whereas before, I mean, I remember when I started looking for work, same thing, applying, printing out 7-8 pages of a CV. Didn't even have much, but you want to make it as massive as possible. And that was then. But going door to door, going office to office, and just leaving your CV, and you could do that then. Now the world's shrunk. On your phone, a click apply, connect with that person. But don't just
Wow.
apply. Go and do some research on the company. Go and do
Yes.
some research on that HR manager. Go and do some research on that hiring manager, and then try to network. And that's another thing
The networking.
is networking. Absolutely. Go into spaces that allow conversations where you can start sharing ideas or asking questions. I see that you're in this space. You've been, let's say, an IT manager or a project manager. How did you get there? What steps? How did you end up in this position? Was it just experience? As a grad, you want to have an inquiring mind, or as anybody looking for work, you always want to have an inquiring mind. So it's really important to get in the right spaces, and have the conversations. And I know sometimes, for the introverts like myself, it's not the easiest thing to do, but I think for that time, for that season, just get out of your comfort zone.
I love it. So many brilliant points have come out of that. There's so many questions that I had to ask you. You get personalities, like you said, the introverts, and then you get personalities like myself who may say too much, and you need to think, okay, now where do I have to tone down now? If I'm going for a potential interview, don't start laughing and joking like he's your best friend. You have to be so cautious and careful. So now in an interview scenario, say you sent that CV, you get a call telling you, we'd like to meet you, and all your nerves blow out of the roof. And now you want to know what to wear. You have to obviously dress a certain way for the job, and you have to look a certain part, but you don't want to also pretend too much. You don't want to be somebody that you're not. So how do you stay true to yourself while also doing what's needed to impress them?
Well, I mean, it's a good question. How do you do that? How do you find the balance? I think you've got to step into the conversation asking yourself, or even the day before, saying to yourself, if I was that interviewer, what would I want to see? If I was that company, who would I want to hire? Can I be that person, or am I that person? And can I bring my personality to the culture of that company and add value?
Yeah.
I think that's the key point. You always want to add value. So when you're stepping into a conversation, how am I adding value to this conversation? You always maintain a level playing field, or try to aim for a level playing field in a conversation, in an interview. It shouldn't be in this day and age where you're just answering yes, no questions.
Yeah.
You should be able to say, right, I've done this, X, Y, and Z. I've been in this space. I've got this experience and this skill set, and I know that your company A, B, C does work in this space, and here's the value I can bring. So it's almost like a partnering rather than an offering of services where somebody's got a job and then you've just got to tick boxes and say yes, no. Yes,
You're
no.
entitled to ask them as well.
You're absolutely entitled to ask questions, and I think it works better for you when you do that, because again, it shows confidence. It shows that you've done some research. It shows that you know who you are and what you're capable of.
Okay, so now that you mentioned the word confidence, with just a few minutes to go, but I'm enjoying this conversation very much, clearly. Is there such a thing also as overconfidence? And can that be off-putting? And maybe can you connect the dots with what would be some deal breakers? If you, as a recruitment agency now, meeting somebody, what would put you off someone?
Well, honesty and integrity always trumps everything, right? If you can be honest and be real, things happen. Life happens. The key is just staying true to who you are. Be honest. Maintain integrity. Some of the deal breakers, when you're talking about confidence, can very easily border into a crossover the line of arrogance. And you don't want to do that. You've been given the opportunity to showcase who you are in this interview, or even in the phone call, on the Zoom. There's a lot more now where it's a lot more cases now where it's just where it's Zoom interviews or Teams interviews. You don't have to go to the office. We can hire you online. You don't need to come to the office. So you only have a few minutes. Don't let it get into arrogance. Be grateful at all times. That's, again, very important. You're grateful for the opportunity to be there. You showcase your skills, experience, highlight what your CV should say, and then show how you can add value, and keep the conversation conversational. I think that's really important.
And also just to give some hope to those that perhaps are looking back at their lives and saying, I wish I did this differently, or I wish I could do this. You have those that potentially could. And now many people, when they engage in conversation, they say now South Africa's reached a point where you're either really succeeding and you're flying, or you're somewhat just struggling along. Like it's just about making it. There's no middle ground anymore. Yeah. But what would you say to those people that perhaps want to try? They want to make an attempt again. Maybe they could be in their early 40s, maybe in their late 30s. And maybe they say, you know what, let me just dust off my CV now and start doing it. But open this Excel thing and let me just try and make something. Not even Excel. Look at me saying Excel. Let me open and design a CV for myself, because maybe he's been stagnant in a certain job for too long and wants to do more. Expenses are high, fees are high, school fees, you've got medical bills to pay, you've got so many things. So now you have a person in that sort of scenario, like a case study. And they're aspirant to now aspiring to maybe join a certain company, or they maybe want to do that. What direction should they move in, or what steps can they take now if they want to move in a particular direction to elevate their own lives as well?
So upskilling in the right space. I mean, you have a passion to do something, go and get it done somehow, some way. YouTube tutorials is a good way to start.
Okay.
I mean, it's free, right? You can use that to start. I'll give you a very good example. Someone I knew who was a journalist, 10 years in journalism, got tired of it, wanted to make a change. We chatted, and she decided she wants to do a copywriting course.
Okay.
She basically used her communication, her writing skills, her passion for writing English or using the English language, and did a course in something that's more relevant now than it was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Because copywriting you take into marketing, right? And content writing and product description. She went into that field. So she made a change later on in life, as an example. She did that. So my advice to anybody that's looking to make a change or wanting to change direction or coming back into the market is do the research, YouTube tutorials, speak to people like us, like agencies like us, ask for that advice. We're never shy to give advice.
And the networking that you mentioned,
and do those courses where you can. If you can find an affordable course, do that short course.
Okay.
Because again, it's one step in the right direction because it's where you want to go.
100%. Adrian Pillay, thank you so much. Such valuable information, wonderful advice. And if people want to get in touch with you, I'm sure they can. protalent.co.za.
Absolutely.
And they're welcome to just hop onto your website.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. All the best for the rest of 2024.
Thank you very much for having me, Salma.
It's been an absolute pleasure. That was Adrian Pillay from ProTalent, a specialist in recruitment. And I think that was a fantastic, very enlightening, very informative. And I hope that helps you to an extent if you plan on your job hunting spree, whatever it may be. We wish you all the best, whatever plans you may have for 2024. When we